I'm going to be joined by Eastern Suburbs 5'8" Tony Melrose right after this break, and we'll go on. This is from last Sunday, interspersed with some exceptionally fine football from both sides. A marvellous week for Manly, really, with 3 wins in 7 days over Penrith, St George and Eastern Suburbs, but a severe loss for Eastern Suburbs, who continue to make far too many fundamental errors, as Tony's already told you. Mal Cochrane scored 18 points from a try and 7 goals and continues to be one of the form Sydney hookers, no argument about that. Dale Shearer's 2 tries and a good all-round game make him, I think, a certainty for the Queensland State of Origin team. And there was the opening try of the match from a spinner bomb.
Yes, it was.
And McGahn, who's done that on more than one occasion, hasn't he?
Yeah, he does. We practiced that, actually. Here, maybe he should get a start with the Swans.
Fair enough. He hurt himself at training the other day and couldn't make yesterday's match.
Actually, we were practicing exactly the same move and he ran into the goalpost.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah,
how bad was the gash?
I didn't actually see the gash, but he had about 3 or 4 stitches put in the hip, and he got a bruised hip as well, so he couldn't run.
Oh, I see. So it wasn't just the stitches. There's that unfortunate floating pass of yours that Shearer lamped onto and sprinted away 65 yards. What was the first word you said when you threw that pass and knew it was going to be intercepted? You can't say that on television. No, so I'll go along with that.
He learned his lesson well, though. He ran onto a few last year, and he hasn't missed one this year.
Well, what do you think of the Manly side? I mean, you came from Manly, you were last year a Manly player. Do you consider them a much better side this year, or not much better, or ordinary, or worse?
Well, they're probably a little bit more disciplined than they were last year. They're certainly up the top of the table, which is the same position that we were at last year. The next few weeks, which everyone's been saying, will be the telling factor for them, but they're a good side. They always have had good sides. And they're going to be there when at the end of the season when the big games are on. I don't think there's much doubt about that.
Now, Gilmeister got he got 10 minutes in the sin bin earlier for that head high on Close, which Close resented, and then he goes on with the bad one on Hasler later in the game. I would have thought he'd learned his lesson from the early one.
Well, I don't think there was much doubt that what he did was completely a reflex action, as much as it hit Des right across the chin. You'll see it later on tape. And
you'll hear it now.
You know, I mean,
pretty spectacular stuff.
Well, Des is like a jack-in-the-box, so when you start jumping left to right and you've got to sort of throw yourself one way to catch a guy, it's pretty easy to hit them across the head, actually. Yeah,
I go along with the fact that almost none of these things are premeditated in the way of with malicious intent to hurt the person. I go along with that, but I mean, that was a very nasty example of a head-high tackle. And now, Shearer, you've been around and you've played with him and against him. How do you rate this fella?
He's an exceptional player. He came down to Manly last year from the country and he was a bit shy and didn't really want to have a go early on, but geez, when he unleashes his talents, he's quite an exceptional player.
What's his nickname over there?
I'm not sure what they call him, actually.
It's something to do with being quiet, and I can't remember what it was. Dave Brown getting the pass on to Worth there, and there were a couple of tries laid on. Bit of a kerfuffle at the end of the game. Nobody could hear the gong or the hooter.
Yeah, I don't think it actually worked.
And the guy had to put his hand out the window away from the referee. OK, let's have a look at a couple of incidents out of the game. A good passage of play here by... there's the intercept coming up with... unfortunately, that was one of the first separate incidents we had, so I've got to go on with it again, much to the chagrin of Tony Melrose. But anyway, it's out of the way, and one swallow doesn't make a summer, and you won't do it again.
No,
you won't do it again. OK, well, we'll try to get away from that. Good passage of play from Manly. I put this in because I've not been all that content with the way Manly's played over the last couple of years, and I like the style that Manly had in the 70s. In the late 70s, and they did this sort of thing fairly regularly. Now it broke down, fair enough, but it keeps the fans coming through the turnstiles, that sort of football. Yeah. And I'm fed up with watching defensive efforts that just make the two lines go bang, bang, bang against each other. I really do think that we need more in rugby league than that. Probably it's nothing to do with the players, it's to do with coaches. But anyway, that's one of my little things that I get on my bandwagon about. Now, Hasler makes a good break here, and Crusher Cleal, who has a very unfortunate game in a lot of ways, against his old club, puts the ball down. And he dropped about 3 or 4, so Crusher, you want to get the pig to bite you on the other finger. I think it'll even yourself up. He did lose a finger through wrestling a pig under a house. Did you know about that?
Yeah, that's right, last year.
Funny sort of occupation, wrestling pigs. Now, this is another one that there was a try on at the end of it as Gibbs goes through. He's made a good transition into the forwards.
Certainly has.
And Davis drops it out there. Now, Stuart Davis doesn't often drop the ball like that. That was a pretty simple one. And we go again with the Hasler being flattened situation. I don't want to overdo this, but it was in the highlight, and it was worthy of comment again. So he does get up, he plays it forward, he's stepping off the left foot and the right. Gilmeister launches himself, and that's highly spectacular. And you can see from the reaction of pretty near all the Eastern Suburbs players there, did you see Batiste nod his head, and everybody said, oh, hell's bells, mademoiselles, we've done it again.
I think Trevor, if you had noticed there, Trevor knew straight away that he wasn't going to last the game.
That's right, that's the way it went.